Hi all. Hello and welcome to Rainbow Reading. Today I have failed. I have already failed because I meant to get up at 8 o'clock before my son was awake and make this video and make some applications, and I did not do that. I slept in, and now he is awake. He's in there watching a show, and I feel bad because I'm not with him, but I have to do this. Maybe I'm being obsessive about it. Maybe I've got the wrong sort of mentality that I'm doing it now, even though things didn't go right, and even though he's awake. But I have to do it. I'm feeling compelled to do it every day, and I'm so disappointed with myself that I didn't wake up in time today. But I forgive myself, and God forgives me. So I don't know if this is a very good look, but we're doing it. We're doing Rainbow Reading. Right, today we're going to read Genesis 25 through 26 and Matthew 7 verses 13 through 29. Chapter 25, Abraham's Sons by Keturah. Abraham married another wife, whose name was Keturah. She bore him Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. Jokshan became the father of Sheba and Didan. The descendants of Didan were the Ashurim, the Letushim, and the Leumim. The descendants of Midian were Ephah, Epher, Hanak, Abida, and Eldah. All of these were descendants of Keturah. Abraham deeded everything that he owned to his son Isaac. To his sons by concubinage, however, he made grants while he was still living, as he sent them away eastward to the land of Kedem, away from his son Isaac. Death of Abraham. The whole span of Abraham's life was 175 years. Then he breathed his last, dying at a ripe old age, grown old after a full life, and he was taken to his kinsmen. His sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah in the field of Ephron, son of Zohar the Hittite, which faces Mamre, the field that Abraham had bought from the Hittites. There he was buried next to his wife Sarah. After the death of Abraham, oh God, I pray in the middle of this because I just realize I'm not doing this with the right heart. I pray you have mercy on me. And I pray I can do this calmly. And that Caleb will be all right until I'm done. Please bless this reading and bless anyone who finds it. And again, I'm sorry you're seeing me like this, but there's certain things I want to do every day, and it's really disappointing when I don't follow through. His sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah at the end of Ephron, son of Zohar the Hittite, which faces Mamre, the field that Abraham had bought from the Hittites. There he was buried next to his wife Sarah. After the death of Abraham, God blessed his son Isaac, who made his home near Beer Lahai Roi. Descendants of Ishmael. These are the descendants of Abraham's son Ishmael, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's slave, bore to Abraham. These are the names of Ishmael's sons, listed in the order of their birth. Nebaioth, Ishmael's firstborn, Kedar, Adbeel, Mibsam, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tima, Jetur, Naphish, and Kedemah. These are the sons of Ishmael, their names by their villages and encampments, 12 chieftains of his many tribal groups. The span of Ishmael's life was 137 years. After he had breathed his last and died, he was taken to his kinsmen. The Ishmaelites ranged from Havilah by Shur, which is on the border of Egypt, all the way to Ashur, and each of them pitched camp in opposition to his various kinsmen. 3. The patriarchs Isaac and Jacob. Birth of Esau and Jacob. This is the family history of Isaac, son of Abraham. Abraham had begotten Isaac. Isaac was 40 years old when he married Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel the Aramean of Padan Aram, and the sister of Laban the Aramean. Isaac entreated the Lord on behalf of his wife, since she was sterile. The Lord heard his entreaty, and Rebekah became pregnant. But the children in her womb jostled each other so much that she exclaimed, "If this is to be so, what good will it do me?" She went to consult the Lord, and he answered her, "Two nations are in your womb, 2 peoples are quarreling while still within you, but one shall surpass the other, and the older shall serve the younger." When the time of her delivery came, there were twins in her womb. The first to emerge was reddish, and his whole body was like a hairy mantle, so they named him Esau. His brother came out next, gripping Esau's heel, so they named him Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when they were born. As the boys grew up, Esau became a skillful hunter, a man who lived in the open, whereas Jacob was a simple man who kept to his tents. Isaac preferred Esau because he was fond of game, but Rebekah preferred Jacob. Once when Jacob was cooking a stew, Esau came in from the open famished. He said to Jacob, "Let me gulp down some of that red stuff. I'm starving." That is why he was called Edom. But Jacob replied, "First give me your birthright in exchange for it." "Look," said Esau, "I'm on the point of dying. What good will any birthright do me?" But Jacob insisted, "Swear to me first." So he sold Jacob his birthright under oath. Jacob then gave him some bread and the lentil stew, and Esau ate, drank, got up, and went his way. Esau cared little for his birthright. Chapter 26. Isaac and Abimelech. There was a famine in the land, distinct from the earlier one that had occurred in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went down to Abimelech, king of the Philistines in Gerar. The Lord appeared to him and said, "Do not go down to Egypt, but continue to camp wherever in this land I tell you. Stay in this land, and I will be with you and bless you. For to you and your descendants I will give all these lands, in fulfillment of the oath that I swore to your father Abraham. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and give them all these lands, and in your descendants all the nations of the earth shall find blessing. This because Abraham obeyed me, keeping my mandate, my commandments, my ordinances, and my instructions." So Isaac settled in Gerar. When the men of the place asked questions about his wife, he answered, "She is my sister." He was afraid, if he called her his wife, the men of the place would kill him on account of Rebekah, since she was very beautiful. But when he had been there for a long time, Abimelech, king of the Philistines, happened to look out of a window and was surprised to see Isaac fondling his wife Rebekah. He called for Isaac and said, "She must certainly be your wife. How could you have said, 'She is my sister'?" Isaac replied, "I thought I might lose my life on her account." "How could you do this to us?" exclaimed Abimelech. It would have taken very little for one of the men to lie with your wife, and you would have thus brought guilt upon us. Abimelech therefore gave this warning to all his men. Anyone who molests this man or his wife shall forthwith be put to death. Isaac sowed a crop in that region and reaped 100-fold the same year. Since the Lord blessed him, he became richer and richer all the time, until he was very wealthy indeed. He acquired such flocks and herds, and so many work animals, that the Philistines became envious of him. The Philistines had stopped up and filled with dirt all the wells that his father's servants had dug back in the days of his father Abraham. So Abimelech said to Isaac, "Go away from us. You have become far too numerous for us." Isaac left there and made the Wadi Gerar his regular campsite. Isaac reopened the wells which his father's servants had dug back in the days of his father Abraham, and which the Philistines had stopped up after Abraham's death. He gave them the same names that his father had given them. But when Isaac's servants dug in the wadi and reached spring water in their well, the shepherds of Gerar quarreled with Isaac's servants, saying, "The water belongs to us." So the well was called Esek, because they had challenged him there. Then they dug another well, and they quarreled over that one too, so it was called Sitnah. When he had moved on from there, he dug still another well, but over this one they did not quarrel. It was called Rehoboth, because he said, "The Lord has now given us ample room, and we shall flourish in the land." From there Isaac went up to Beersheba. The same night the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am the God of your father Abraham. You have no need to fear, since I am with you. I will bless you and multiply your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham." So he built an altar there and invoked the Lord by name. After he had pitched his tent there, his servants began to dig a well nearby. Abimelech had meanwhile come to him from Gerar, accompanied by Ahazath, his counselor, and Phicol, the general of his army. Isaac asked them, "Why have you come to me, seeing that you hate me and have driven me away from you?" They answered, "We are convinced that the Lord is with you, so we propose that there be a sworn agreement between our two sides, between you and us. Let us make a pact with you. You shall not act unkindly toward us, just as we have not molested you, but have always acted kindly toward you and have let you depart in peace. Henceforth, the Lord's blessing be upon you." Isaac then made a feast for them, and they ate and drank. Early the next morning, they exchanged oaths. Then Isaac bade them farewell, and they departed from him in peace. That same day, Isaac's servants came and brought him news about the well they had been digging. They told him, "We have reached water." He called it Sheba, hence the name of the city Beersheba to this day. When Esau was 40 years old, he married Judith, daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and Basemath, daughter of Elon the Hivite. But they became a source of embitterment to Isaac and Rebekah. Okay. Abraham's sons by another wife. The death of Abraham. They bury him next to Sarah in the cave that he bought for her. Descendants of Ishmael. 12 tribes, I think it says. 12 chieftains of as many tribal groups. Yep. Esau and Jacob. Esau is a hunter. Jacob is more mild-mannered. Jacob is the younger. Esau is the older. Rebekah receives a prophecy from the Lord that the older will serve the younger. And I don't know if I already said this, but Isaac prefers Esau. Rebekah prefers Jacob. And Jacob tricks his brother. And he doesn't really seem to even trick him, really. He just sets him up with something he wants. If you want this food, give me your birthright. And Esau is tired. He says, fine, I give you my birthright. And he agrees. So that's another step for the fulfillment of the prophecy that Rebekah received. And then I love that it says Esau cared little for his birthright, at that point. Then Isaac does the same thing to Abimelech as Abraham did, lying about his wife being his sister. And Abimelech still sees that God is with him, so he makes an agreement between him that there's no bad blood between them. And then there's a lot of reestablishing the wells that had been filled with dirt since Abraham died, because they have spiritual significance as places the Lord spoke to Abraham and declared. And oh, and Esau marries 2 women, and they became a source of embitterment to Isaac and Rebekah, his parents. I think that's interesting. Okay, now thank you for being here if you're here. And gather when you watch this again. It's okay if you're not perfect. God loves you anyway. And you need to go love your son soon. Be there with him, because he loves you too. Okay. Matthew 7, 13 through 29. The narrow gate. Enter through the narrow gate, this is still Jesus talking. Enter through the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the road broad that leads to destruction, and those who enter through it are many. How narrow the gate and constricted the road that leads to life, and those who find it are few. False prophets. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but underneath are ravenous wolves. By their fruits you will know them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? Just so, every good tree bears good fruit, and a rotten tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a rotten tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit will be cut down and thrown into the fire. So by their fruits you will know them. The true disciple. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father in heaven. Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? Did we not drive out demons in your name? Did we not do mighty deeds in your name? Then I will declare to them solemnly, I never knew you. Depart from me, you evildoers. The 2 foundations. Everyone who listens to these words of mine and acts on them will be like a wise man who built his house on rock. The wise man builds his house upon the rock, and the waves won't wash it down. And everyone who listens to these words of mine but does not act on them will be like a fool who built his house on sand. The rain fell, the floods came, and the wind blew and buffeted the house, and it collapsed and was completely ruined. When Jesus finished these words, the crowds were astonished at his teaching, for he taught them as one having authority and not as their scribes. And Caleb is here, so I'm done. God bless you. Short episode of Rainbow Reading. Be well. And I'm going to go get my son.